surprised it survived as long as it did. But I think they said the building's getting sold. I read somewhere, and that's the reason why. But my friend took me there. I don't know, a few years ago. Oh, probably like 5, 6 years ago. Only time I went, and the first right off the bat, the service was terrible, and then we had a bottle of wine, and they brought out chipped a chipped decanter, and then the gentleman I was with said something to him about it, and they went back, and they actually came back and said all of our decanters are chipped, and I'm just thinking, everyone I know, there's no like Sam on the planet I know that would bring out a chipped decanter. They would just say we can't do it. Um, and it was like bad service. They didn't really care about chips in the glass, and then the steak was steak, and the side dishes weren't good. And it's one of those things, and the service was so bad. I felt like they were trying to do a higher end restaurant, and then the level of service. They had a few good people, but I felt like at times I was more at like a Chili's, if that makes any sense. It's not like the same level of experience you get at Prime and Proper, for example, which I consider that my home in Detroit. At least until COVID came, I'll be back. I'll be back home soon. But what you'd get even at a Capitol Grill, what you got at Big Rock Chop House before it closed. There's just a different level of experience. So I just thought that it's downtown. The experience sucked. The food was just. I was really surprised. It made it as long as it has, but it's one of those things that it was such a big deal when it came, because it's like, wow, we got a cool place downtown. I mean, that was back in 2008, and if you're from Michigan, you know that the whole Detroit revitalization wasn't like popping off at that time. It was beginning, but it accelerated. Now 2013, 14, 15, things really started to take off there. 2008 was still, it was early to be down there. But it's sad because I want a good restaurant scene. It's one of the things I love about going to Chicago and New York. I'm a foodie. I like good cocktails. I like good food. But, we don't have a whole lot of places that do it right here. I could have swore I just read another article about another good place in Detroit that closed down recently. It's just, it's hard with COVID right now, and it's hard getting the staff in the hospitality industry. I own things or investments in restaurants and bars, and quite a few restaurant owners, and it's tough getting people. And then depending where you're at, it's even harder to get customers depending on what's going on with COVID. So I hate seeing it go because I want that scene, but it just wasn't what you hoped it was going to be. So maybe we can get something new now. Maybe this will create space to bring in another, something. Bring something else in. I can do steakhouses all day. Like, well, bring in a, speakeasy somewhere. Do something. I think about it. They made it 12, 13, 14 years-ish. 13 years up there, it just said. I'm really surprised they made it that long. I mean, if you've been there and you had a good experience, drop a comment. And I know I only went one time, but I knew people that went there several times after and had very similar experiences. I'm not driving downtown for roast is what it comes down to. It's one of those things that I can just go to, I hate to say it because it's a chain, but I go to Capitol Grill and get just as good of food and better service. Big Rock was an all-time favorite. I mean, bone-in filet and chop sauce, sick wine list, cigar lounge upstairs. I mean, hard to compete with that. Also, a handful of other places to get decent steak and good service. Like, I'm not humping it. If I'm leaving the office in Troy, in traffic, 30, 35 minutes, man, all that construction that was going on, you remember that? Yeah, not for roast. I mean, I did it for Prime and Proper. Like, we'd go down, we'd spend the whole night down there. Hit Prime and Proper up, man, swing over to the Bad Luck Bar, go back to Prime and Proper to that joint in the basement. Man, that was a good time down there. But yeah, I wasn't doing that for roast. I felt like You know what it reminded me of is the Cruise and Mirror type steakhouse we have around here, where it was what a steakhouse was 20 years ago, and it was good. I just feel like there's better stuff. Man, you go to Chicago, you go to Bavette's, RPM Steak, Chicago Cut. I mean, there's so many steak joints out there that I can go to that we don't have a whole lot of stuff like that out here. We have a lot of places that serve steak, but not like at like what Bavette's level. I mean, we got Prime and Proper. That's about it. There's a handful of other places, obviously, but sad to see it go. And not. I know it was a cool kind of celebrity staple to have it here, but yeah, let's bring in something new. Hopefully, when this COVID stuff dies down, we can get back on that, bringing Detroit back alive again. It'd be nice. But what would you like to see come here? Brand new, Italian, Asian fusion, steakhouse. Like, what do we want to get down here? What do we need more of? Is there something in another city that you would like to come here? Like, I would love to have a Bavette's here. I'd probably move downtown if there was a Bavette's here. But is there something that maybe not a franchise, like a single location somewhere that you would like to see come to Detroit? Drop a comment below.